people don't realize with Whitby, it's one of these places that the season just keeps on going and keeps on extending. And I think that's, like you say, most people then gravitate towards cities because that is where people assume. But there are, and I hear this term goldmine phrase passed around a lot in service accommodation. This is where places like Whitby and like Bakewell, where you've got property as well, there's some absolutely amazing locations that are untapped when it comes to service accommodation. Now, how did you personally discover Whitby? Have you been there in the past, like for holidays with family, or is this somebody that's recommended you to check out this area and then you've done your due diligence?
Some of the people in Touchstone community were like, no one can do it in Whitby. You can't get a rent to rent in Whitby. And that was it then. The challenge was off. So I went one day and got a rent to rent because I was determined I was going to do that.
When somebody says, I just went and got one, for people that are watching this or tuning in and going, I don't really understand what that means, what did you do that may be different from the rest? Like, how do you approach going to an estate agent or approaching a landlord or whatever you do to then go and get these properties on your portfolio?
So the first thing I did when I hit Whitby, because I went with my friend for the day, we said we were going to go and have a nice day out in Whitby without any children, just us. And I thought, while I'm there, I'm going to see if I can get some property. So I went into a little local cafe, started talking to the locals, found a guy that owned one of the pubs, so I went chatting to him. And then I logged on Gumtree. And on Gumtree, there was this advert from a lady, and it was just a handwritten note. There was no photo, saying that she had a 3-bed house to rent. And for people to get in touch. So I immediately just picked up the phone, rang her and said, hey, I'm in Whitby for the day. Can I please come and look at it? I'm really, really interested, but I'd want to take it for a long term, like 5 years. Would that be a problem? She said, no. She doesn't want to live there. She had nightmare tenants, so she'd be more than happy. So I went to view the property, told her what I did, told her everything. She was a little bit unsure at first, so I left that day and I had to follow her up, but she came round to the idea, and it was all because she'd had issues with tenants, and I promised her that she wouldn't have that with me.
You get to a point where you're chatting to a landlord who, again, has had problem with tenants, like a lot of people do. What did you have to do then from the point of having the initial conversation to win her over? Is there anything that you did? Like, obviously you've got proof of portfolio and things that you've done in the past, but what do you do to sort of put somebody at ease in those situations?
What I really reassured her is I want it, I can afford it, the rent's no problem at all. I'll come in and I was going to redecorate it and furnish it. She would be able to see it all the time, but I would be in there for 5 years, so she's not having to change tenant every 9 months, which is the average for Whitby. Anything that damages to a certain point, I'll replace and I'll look after, and that she would get a rent on time.
How do you establish who your customer demographic is for each location? Do you have a different tactic when it comes to getting people in?
All of my SAs are set up to be child friendly. They're bigger, they can put cots up. I've got all the plastic plates, cups, etc. And I think because of that, and then the way that I word the description, it naturally attracts families. My one in Whitby, because I did my research before, I realised that there's 1 and 2 bedroom apartments in Whitby. I wouldn't be able to take my children in a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, which is why I went for a 3-bed house that's so large it can sleep 8, because I knew it was a bit of a gap in the market.
When making your decision, did you go and do the research about the other places? You mentioned that, 100% in Whitby, there's loads of 1 or 2 bed apartments. You went for the 3-bed house. Now, is this 3-bed house in the town centre? Is it a little bit of a way out? How did you sort of come up with your ideal customer for the place in Whitby? Did you go and do the necessary research online, or is it just you with your gut instinct, knowing this area, knowing what you look for, and then just went?
It's literally just what I would want for. So it's
nice.
in the town centre of Whitby. It's about 5 minutes from the train station. There is on-street parking right outside, and I drove past a few times to make sure you could actually park, because having a car parking space is massive.
Mm-hmm.
And what I didn't want to do is be in a place where you're having to drive in and out of Whitby all the time. I wanted where you can, push the buggy down to the seaside, or mum and dad can go and have a drink and then, walk the kids back up and things. So it's all done around me and what I ideally want, because it's my holiday home at the end of the day. And then because of that, and because I've got more of the personal touches, I think, at my reviews, and I do so well with bookings, like my Whitby one, it's fully booked until like mid-November. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy that and I didn't expect that at all. I did expect more of the the peak season.
I am not surprised at all, to be honest, because the thing about Whitby, is it's got so many events on. Obviously, the Goth weekend being a major one that's coming up in October, but it's got every weekend pretty much as an event coming on, and they duplicate it up. And when you say fully booked till November, I'm not surprised at all.